Oh, we're live. We're live.
Ooh,
We've not got the music queued up.
Bonus content.
Here we are. Here it comes.
Space, final frontier. These are the voyages of Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Retrek. I'm Captain Jim. With me, of course, is Admiral Elliot.
Hi there.
And Dr. Squee.
Ahoy, hoy.
And we're back to talk about more Picard. More good Picard as well. Fly Me to the Moon this episode. But before that, Elliot's got some Trek news for us.
Well, yeah, we've had... I think it's 9 trailers this week. The Strange New Worlds, and I think it's been great because we've had 8 of them have been character introductions. Nothing spoilerish, just who they are, what they do, a little bit of personality about them, and it's been great.
Yeah, I say I've been avoiding them, so I was like, "Oh, that seems a lot of trailers." I didn't want to spoil myself.
Yeah.
But they're not.
It's very little. It's like a flash trailer with little clips of the person in question. So you just get, like Elliot says, a little flavor of their personality, which is really interesting.
Like
the only one I slightly rubbed up against is the not in a rude way, is the Nurse Chapel one. Just because she seems very, very spunky compared to the character we met, but I know she wasn't very well fleshed out, of course.
Is this before she breaks up with Roger Corby, though? Maybe that upset her.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, she seemed very impish, and I'm like, there was really nothing in the portrayal anywhere which suggests this, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But again, they didn't write very well for even Star Trek, which I think is a high bar for women even in the 60s.
Yeah.
Compared to today's standards, the writing wasn't the best, and they were limited by what the network would allow.
She was sort of overtly flirty with Spock, which at the time, that's wait a minute, this woman's trying to make it known she's interested in someone. How dare she? So in a real way, she was quite.
I mean, in the trailer, they do kind of hint at that without any spoilers. There's just a couple of moments with her and Spock where you're going, oh, well, that looks like maybe they're picking up on that thing. And yeah, that'd be interesting.
I do think it's great that we've got 2 different actresses playing 2 different characters that were both played by Majel Barrett in the original. I think that's just
very amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So, Elliot, you were saying it's sort of the opposite of Discovery, really, because we've talked a lot now. We don't know these characters.
I've had 30 seconds of these characters, and I feel like I know them better than some of the Discovery crew after 4 seasons.
Yeah,
I mean, could you fill a 30-second trailer? Let's imagine if they went, "This is Bryce," and did a trailer for Bryce for Discovery.
I'm going to climb a mountain. That's about all I've got as a personality.
I think you'd struggle with some of them. I think you'd massively struggle.
Reese.
I think with all of them, you just get the clips from when they're all going, it's like, well, this is what I'm going to do when I get home. Or, hey, this is why this matters to me right now. There's one scene where they all say a pithy line about what they're going to do when they get out of this mess. And they've got a couple of those in Discovery. You'd just be able to pick out lines from that. I think
you could probably do 30 seconds for each one. Maybe. We'll see.
But it's like we were talking earlier, me and James, and it's very much like what you used to get before Voyager or DS9 started.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be magazine art, big spreads, and it'd tell you about the characters before the show started. It'd introduce you to them.
Yeah,
and it's very much a modern way of doing that.
Yeah.
All of them seemed... Oh, sorry, Jim.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say all of them seem really interesting. But the Doctor, particularly in the trailer, just sound like... Oh, he sounded like someone's kind of dad/granddad, kind of very homely, very... You just warm to these characters. Again, these are just really well put together. 30 seconds, no spoilers. You're just getting a feeling of their personality, which, it's just lovely.
It's
And
really.
it's just like it's making me look forward to the series even
That's what
more.
I was going to say. Like it is really looking like being everything that everybody's
want it to be.
hoped it's going to be. So anyway, fingers crossed. And yeah, if this delivers and the finale of Picard delivers, that could be like the best Star Trek day ever because we get them two on the same day.
I know.
It would be amazing.
And also kind of there was a bit more of pike action in the first trailer. And just I love the fact that in a really weird way, he seems like everyone's favorite boss that you've ever had. And I just love that. The real fun boss that you always have a laugh with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just great.
Sort of like what David Brent thought he was, but wasn't. The Pike is actually that.
And I don't know why. It's like with the other captains, I think they're all great, obviously, from all the Star Treks, but it's just the first time I've really felt like I could imagine working for him. Like, I don't know why. It just creates that feeling of like a really fun boss in the office.
It's just got that thing, and I don't know how much of it's the writing and how much of it's just Anson Mount's natural charisma, but he brought that to Discovery as soon as he arrived in season 2. He put everyone at ease, and as a viewer, you were like, right, this is going to be good. You know, there's something about the guy, and that's obviously why they've given him his own series. You know, I genuinely don't think they planned on that when they cast him for season 2.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think at that point Strange New Worlds was planned at all. No, but then he was just so popular and
that was
charismatic in the role. It was you've got to.
Yeah, that was it. It's okay.
They have literally listened to the fans with this and given us what we want.
Michelle Yeoh's probably pissed off. Like, you know, I had a series lined up, but then this guy comes in and.
Even when you get back to the kind of the classic two captains, like the Kirk and the Picard of it all. So Kirk, you've got this kind of obviously the show was all about him. Like he was the mission as far like especially in Shatner's head. Let's face it. With Picard, he was great at kind of like he saw the mission, but like not necessarily he wasn't a people person. He had to grow in that way. Cisco, he was more kind of bred for war and kind of perfect tactician for that. All these characters, all great, but just this is the first one where I go, hey, yeah, I'd love to work for him. It'd be great.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, fingers
looking
crossed.
forward. May the 5th is off to be a good day.
Definitely. Anyway, let's talk about Picard then. So we're at the halfway mark now, and yeah, this is turning out to be one of the best seasons, certainly of New Trek, possibly of Star Trek. Full stop.
Yeah, it's like this is probably the weakest episode of the season so far, and it's very obviously a mid-season episode. But that doesn't mean it's not a good episode still.
No, they're keeping that pace up. They're keeping the interest.
Like
I'm loving how they're peppering in these cliffhangers at the end of every episode. Like,
it's
done so well. It is more your classic sort of serial cliffhangers that we used to get, rather than most episodes of Discovery finish on a cliffhanger of one form or another. But these ones, it's literally like we're stopping mid-scene so that you're desperate for the next one.
Let's be fair. Last season of Discovery, sort of, they finished doing one thing, and the cliffhanger was we've got to go do another thing.
Yes, it was.
and with this episode particularly, like I'm the same as Elliot with this one. I think, especially the first half, it felt a little bit disjointed. I was still having a good time with it, but then this one was more about the payoffs in this episode, I felt, than the episode itself. It's like it led you to somewhere really interesting. Along the way, it was felt a bit muddled near the beginning for me.
Yeah,
I think it's a mid-season episode, and it had a lot to do. It had to sort of bring where the story had gone, and then lining us up for what's going to happen for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it had to introduce new characters. It had to wrap up Rios's predicament, which didn't take long. And it had to have a lot of exposition, which they delivered a lot better. Like, if we go back to season 1 of Picard, I think it was episode 8, was basically just them all sat on the ship talking about what's been happening, because we needed that much filling in by that point that you just had to have a really slow episode where we just literally spell out the story. Whereas we've been doing it as we go along here, and when you do get the exposition, it's done in a much more interesting way, because you've got this new character, Talyn. So it's not Laris, it's Talyn, which presumably we're going to loop back to and explore the reasons why she looks like Laris, because
there's got to be a reason.
They do sort of lampshade that within the episode, where you've got that brilliant bit where Raffi's going, well, have you not noticed? And Picard's just going, yes. Isn't it weird? Yes. So I thought that was really...
I love the phrase lampshading. That's a new one on me.
Lampshading? Yeah. It's
you lampshade it.
Yeah, when you draw attention to a particular trope, you lampshade it.
I've not heard that one.
There you go. Get on TV tropes, mate.
I think I've heard put a hat on it, or put a hat.
Yeah, it's a similar sort of thing. But yeah. Go to TV tropes, and that will do you for about 3 days. You'll just fall down a rabbit hole of all these terms.
I mean, through a much wasted youth, I'm usually pretty good on these TV tropes, because God knows I wasn't spending the time with girls when I was younger. But like, I've missed this one apparently. Maybe a girl walked past the window at the time.
I will send you a link to lampshading, and you can read about it to your heart's content.
Oh, God. Yeah, send me a link. I'm not going to Google it. It could come up with something else as well.
It could be something dirty. I don't know quite what it'd be, but yeah. Okay, we'll have a think about that. Send in your answers. What is Dr. Squee's mind thinking of when we say lampshading?
My mind isn't thinking of anything. I just know if you Google any given term like lampshading, you'll have a rude version.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably will. But yeah, send the answers on a postcard. What is the rude version?
Yeah, thank you. Not what am I thinking? God blame me on me.
Okay. So yeah. What is the rude version? Definitely not something Dr. Squee's thinking of, honest.
Well, you see, now you've added that, it sounds like you think I am thinking.
I wouldn't make it sound like I think that. Anyway, I will send you the link. I will send you the clean link. So we meet Renee Picard then. Now, Picard did mention her, didn't he, in his big speech in the first episode? When he addressed the Academy, he said, I stand here as the last of the Picards, and my ancestors have done this, this, and this. And one of them was Renee Picard. And so again, it's going back to that first episode. We talked about at the time how much groundwork it was laying.
Yeah.
And this is one that we didn't even pick up on at the time. But yeah, they've done it again. So,
and I love all these little things we've got to pick up. And so we've got Renee Picard over here. We've got the data ancestor over here, and we've got all these kind of little threads all leading into the. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can I explain that a little bit? So I just love the fact that whatever Q's planning, it isn't just one thing. There's a few threads to it, and there's obviously going to be something overarching.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's making me wonder at this stage, like, is Q just doing this to mess humanity up, or is this something much more personal to Picard? Is that why he's picked one of Picard's ancestors, and what's happened to the timeline is just a byproduct of that? Or, I don't know.
Hey, wouldn't this be cool? What if it somehow linked back to why he chose Picard? What if we got some sort of overreaching thing where it had to be Jean-Luc that he pissed off first?
Back in the beginning, yeah. Why was it the Enterprise?
Why it was Picard? It was the first one.
That would be great. I would love that.
Really interesting, yeah.
Well, they have said that they had to talk Q into John Delancey into why to come back.
I mean, surely just reading the script, they've given him so much to chew on.
Yeah.
And they've given him so many different facets of Q to play. Like he's got to do really nasty Q, he's got to do scary Q, he's got to do fun Q. And we're only halfway through the season, you know.
And isn't it great? It really feels like that whole thing of like, and there's dress up in this episode. He's to dress up as the therapist, which I really liked. And I think it doesn't feel out of keeping with anything we've seen of Q before. It feels so in keeping, but a modern version, a slightly better drawn out, because nowadays they're better at drawing out characters. They just simply are. The way they just are rounded human characters in general on TV is so much better. And this is a great example. It's just a slightly grown up version of that same character. It doesn't feel out of place at all.
No, it definitely is. It's really interesting, and I'm still waiting for like the other shoe to drop. Like, what exactly has he done, and more importantly, why has he done it? But
yeah,
I'm confident we're going to get.
I think we know what he's done is he's stopped Rennie going on the flight.
That seems to be it. Yeah,
and I think we know what he's done now, but it's the why he's done it.
And has he done it to help Picard? Because if this was all like you said, penance for Picard or punishment for Picard, why would he yank them out of the other timeline, and why would he let him have the rest of his crew to help him?
Yeah.
You know, he clearly wants him to succeed on some level, but
and
yet
also,
he's actively trying to.
Yeah.
What an interesting way of doing it, as opposed to
wrong with Q as well.
Yeah, and what an interesting way of doing it, as opposed to coming like he did on DS9, where he put Bashir to sleep just to get him out of the way. This time he's done his work. He's gone into therapy with the person he wants to screw with to really fuck with their mind. That's the Q I want. I don't want him just going, you're a bit sleepy. No, I really want to fuck with your head. That's
well, he can't do that, can he? Because his powers are waning, as we saw last week. So
it's not good. There's
better?
something wrong.
Oh yeah, this is plan B. This is I can't just snap my finger, so I'm going to become a therapist.
But he obviously can do bits and pieces of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been able to put himself into the position of being the therapist.
That's true. Yeah, so maybe it can.
I think it's maybe sort of intermittent. His powers.
Yeah, he's got powers of illusion, but not powers of mind control or something at the moment.
When he was talking to Brent Spiner as well, that moment where it was just I genuinely believed on some level Q was concerned, because he said, like, no, I'm very interested. I'm very concerned in what you're doing. It reminded me a lot of the scene from Star Trek Generations, where you got Soren talking to Picard, and they're looking each other in the eye, and they talk about time and it being Predator. Yeah. And it's just such an intense scene. And this reminded me of that. Like, it's really wonderful to see John Delancey also being given these opportunities to really show what a wonderful actor he was always been, because he was always great as Q, but they didn't always give him the best opportunities to do that really kind of deep, moody acting.
Likewise, Brent Spiner as well, which not to knock anything with the way he's played Data, but or Lore or any of the other ones. But like last time we saw him at the end of Picard, he was just basically playing Dr. Noonien Soong again. But now we're getting him playing a nastier version. It's like if you had a Spectrum.
We're getting him playing. I'm trying to think which one it was from Enterprise.
Oh, there was Auric Soon from Enterprise, but I think this guy's got a nastier streak even than him.
Well, I think this is sort of like
over on the Spectrum, and
with him working in the genetics and all that, it's sort of like obviously where that's come from.
Yeah, there was almost like it's his.
You can see. This is like the start of the work that even Dr. Sung did. Noonien Soong.
Yeah, and I just want to say I called it Issa Briones as his daughter. I said that was going to happen. So thank you. I'm not sure what I'll win, but there you go.
And one of the things they're saying is that this is the girl that Data was painting.
It could well be, yeah.
Data's dream. It was his ultimate grandmother.
Yeah,
nice.
Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that if she's part of the Soong genetic code or whatever, that it would be somehow implanted in his memories. So, this is Dr. Soong's memories, didn't he, Data? He got all the.
Yeah, he got all the. I don't think he got Dr. Soong's, did he?
No, I can't remember now.
I think Law pinched some of the memories which were meant to go to him. But
But
he's only got the dream program unlocked.
Yeah, they sort of dropped the whole Data's got hundreds of people's memories thing. That was they made a big hoo-ha about it in season 1, and then it was just kind of
maybe not. Yeah, I mean, I also what was I going to say? Something about Brent Spiner. Oh, well, that one's gone. Sorry.
Much like Independence Day 3 that it's going to be in.
No, that's what I was going to say. I did love the fact that when they were saying about Oh God, have I forgotten what I was going to say again? This is not good tonight. Oh yeah, that was it. When you're saying about the dreams and the when he painted the woman and is this person that now, some of these like if it was another series of Star Trek, I would go, oh look, that fits and it's really nice, but I don't think the writers thought of it. I think anything you pick up from this series, I think the writers thought of. I think they've done such a good job of trying to pick up little elements and fit them perfectly, so none feel forced as well.
This is possibly one of the best written series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and not just Star Trek. I mean, anything that's going in a series when this sort of thing and they've really thought about the story.
Yeah, and you know, in a lesser series, look, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it, in Enterprise, for instance, if they wanted to do something like that, they go, it's like, and maybe one day my grandson who's an android will paint me, and you know that they would shoehorn a reference to what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I think it's so effortless. Look, here's the reference. If you get it, brilliant. Like, we're going to even do this really intelligent thing whereby, because the timeline's altered, Guinan doesn't remember meeting Picard in the past because she hasn't met him in the future. But we're not going to signpost that. We're just going to leave you to work that out unless you happen to read an interview with us, because we're going to trust you as an audience. And we know that you'll ask questions, and then someone else in the audience will have thought of what we thought of, and they'll answer it for you or read that interview. It is so
very
clever and it's so respectful to the audience.
And like the pulls it's making from Star Trek history, like we talked about it last week, and we get confirmation here that Talon is of the same organization, shall we say, as Gary Seven.
Nailed it.
And
and the cat-free abortions, I told you. No, sorry, they haven't introduced. That's next episode.
They haven't brought the cat in yet.
That's next episode. Yeah.
But
careful talking about cat-free abortions. Laney might throw up again in her mouth.
Yeah, Laney might. Sorry, Laney.
That one was just for you.
And what was I saying? Yes, if someone had sat you down at the start of this season and said, oh, by episode 4 and 5, we're going to have callbacks to Gary 7, and it's not going to feel stupid, you'd go, what?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I would have gone, fair enough, they are going to have callbacks to Gary 7. I'll believe that. The fact that it's not stupid, I'm not believing it after
the thing is, this works. As a callback to Gary 7, this works. And it fits in.
Yeah, it does. And it's great.
Fits in.
But
when Discovery last season 3, brought in the
Guardian of Forever.
Guardian of Forever, that could have been anything. Because we were speculating about loads of different things.
Yes,
and it was like it was there just to have it there.
Yes.
It wasn't necessary.
And
this actually works.
Yeah, it was very tenuous the way they did it. So in the past, the Guardian of Forever has just sent you back in time to a thing.
Yeah.
Now he's going to alternate realities and he's doing this and the other. Like you say, Elliot, at the time, I didn't even question it because I thought, oh, great, they're doing Guardian of Forever. That's brilliant. Now seeing this done so well, I'm like, yeah, actually, that was a bit shoehorned. That wasn't as good as I thought it was because this is done so well.
Yeah.
It's put it to shame a bit.
It's like even with the Punk last week, we all know it was just a nice little Easter egg nod. But we've come up with a theory as well why that works and fits in with the times altered because he's got the sore neck from it.
Yeah, no, it's been so much fun.
I'm still saying evil Spock from that timeline did it.
No, it was Kirk Fu.
General Kirk Fu.
Like, we're not going to agree on this. We've accepted it. But also, speaking of the Gary 7 of it all, I just... Again, who was calling out for a Gary 7 cameo? Who was saying that's what we really need? The only thing in that which I didn't, which felt just a little bit forced, but it works for the plot, and I understand why they did it. It was just when Picard, like that one, going, "Oh yes, I remember Kirk run into a Gary 7," like just like that comes to his mind.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
well,
I'm sure you did study. I'm sure you did study the original. Like, you know,
yeah, but it's also probably because it's got time travel.
I would have thought it might just take a minute.
Yeah, but Picard's had his run-ins with time travel as well. So it's maybe something he has looked into. I
know, but such a specific reference to get so quickly. That seemed a little bit convenient. Again, I will allow it. And as you say, there are reasons why he might have done time travel research. but it did seem very convenient. Let's just put it that way.
You reckon, they always say Kirk's missions were required reading in the academy.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they're a bit like us, and they're like, term 1's great when we study the first year of Kirk's mission, and term 2's really good. Term 3, it's a bit boring.
It's a bit hit and miss.
That's when you get like Spock's brain and all sorts like that.
By now they were just making up their logs, weren't they? Spock had his brain removed and hooked into a sit. Oh, come on. Look, I know we've dealt with time travel, but this is ridiculous.
Right, if this were a TV program, they'd cancel it. That's what Athlete Academy said.
Yeah, what happened to the other 2 years of the mission? Never mind. It's not important right now.
We've got this
We've got the animated series, so we have 4 of these.
Yeah, the video quality, we lost a lot of video footage, so we've reconstituted it with animation.
Strictly speaking, we also did get a second season of the animated series.
Yeah, technically.
But it's only a few episodes, so I suppose technically we have got 5 years of the mission.
Technically, there are 5 seasons covering the original, okay, so other bits we've not talked about yet. Rescuing Rios. There's not much to it, really. I was hoping it'd go all Fast and Furious, and in fact, I'm amazed no one's done a mashup video, because I'm sure, as I am, you two are aficionados of the Fast and Furious series, and you'll recall the end of Fast and Furious 4, which is confusingly titled Fast and Furious. Big Daddy Vin's on a coach, and he's going to jail, and then the Fast and Furious, or Fast and Furious 4, finishes with the rest of the guys in cars speeding up to the bus about to rescue him. And I'm amazed no one's done a mashup of Raffi and Seven looking at the bus going, how do we rescue him? And then these Lamborghinis. But unfortunately, we don't get that. But they do rescue him in pretty short order, and the only sort of really notable thing is Raffi has this sort of flash of Elnor, which means this is the first episode since the premiere, I think, where we've had the whole cast in it, albeit...
second episode.
Sorry. Yes, second episode, yeah, you're right.
Do you know what? I was trying to concentrate on what you were saying, and I did.
I
did listen. However, man, you started me on the Fast and Furious titles. They piss me off no end. So you got Fast and Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious...
No, you've got it wrong straight away. The first one...
Tokyo Drift?
The first one is The
Fast and the Furious. Sorry, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift.
Yes.
Fast 4?
No, and Fast and Furious is 4.
And then Fast 5, is it?
Fast 5, or...
And then you got Furious later, Furious 6 later.
It's dead easy. Right, so the fifth one in the American market was called Fast 5. In the UK market, it was called Fast and Furious : Rio Heist.
Rio Heist? I never even heard that.
That's what it's called. The sixth one is called Furious 6 in America, but it's called Fast and Furious 6 over here. Right. The seventh one is called Furious 7 in America, but it's called Fast and Furious 7 over here. The eighth one is called The Fate of the Furious in America, Fast and Furious 8 over here.
No, it's called The Fate of the Furious. I saw it at the cinema. It was called The Fate of the Furious. It was bloody called that at the cinema when I saw it.
Well, you must have seen a knockoff, because that is not what it's called here.
I swear, half these British titles you're saying, Brit, I never saw. I went to see these all with my son because he was into them, and after a certain number, I've seen them all with him.
You check the British Board of Film Classification website. It was called Fast and Furious 8 here.
Go on,
Fast and Furious 9 is called Fast and Furious 9 here, but just called F9 in America. And hopefully the 10th one will be called Fast 10, Your Seatbelts. And
well,
if it's not, they've missed
I see someone's not a fan of Hobbs and Shaw then, obviously. You missed
well, we weren't talking about the naming convention. That is called Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Thank you. But do you know what? I came up with a system, and I like to remind my son of this all the time because it winds him up a bit. I think he's learned to find it funny or embarrassing or something. But my idea was this. We simplify this whole problematic naming convention of the Fast and the Furious. So you just have The Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, and then you go 3 Fast, 3 Furious, 4 Fast, 5 Furious, 5 Fast, 5 Furious, 6 Fast, 6 Furious, 7 Fast, 7 Furious, 8 Fast, 8 Furious. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. You can keep that one.
Yep.
9 Fast, 9 Furious, and then 10 Fast, 10 Furious. Your seatbelt coming up.
Yep. Now we are at risk of going on a tangent here, but
I don't see that.
But we've only talked about the titles. We've not talked about the timeline of the Fast and Furious films.
Oh god, that's a complete mess.
So it goes 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, half of 7, 3, the other half of 7, 8, and Hobbs and Shaw's in there somewhere.
Also, there's the post credit from 6.
Oh,
there's a post credit at the end of one of the films which shows what happens in Tokyo Drift.
Oh, yeah,
the last scene.
Yes, there is.
That little bit as well.
That's the post credits of 6.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do we know so much about these films? Anyway, we coming soon. Retrek does Fast and Furious. We'll do,
I would be fucking in, by the way, if that ever happens.
We will do a podcast on each of the Fast and Furious films.
Well, I pre-record them and we'll put them out like between weeks of Star Trek.
Yeah, and they'll be very oddly titled. It'll be 2 Trek.
Yeah. No, that's the name of the podcast.
2 Trek. Yeah, there you go.
Each episode's got to be like 2 Fast, 2 Furious, 3 Fast, 3 Furious. Yep. That's my only condition for doing it.
Yeah, coming soon to a podcast feed near you, whether you want it or not. The Fast and Furious. Anyway, back to Star Trek, however briefly. So Raffi's feeling very guilty about Elnor, and that's obviously a thread that's running through. When Picard and Tallinn are talking about Renee, I do like the fact that they discuss the fact that she's got depression, and they touch on this, and they touch on it very sensitively. And Picard says, depression can be really debilitating, which it isn't something we should need to say, but they don't put a big neon sign on it and make a big hoo-ha. But it's just nice for, as someone who suffers from depression and anxiety, to have that acknowledged that it is a serious condition and it can affect people. And Picard seems genuinely concerned, like, oh, well, that might affect her going on this mission. And I just think that's great how efficiently and sensitively it's handled. And that's when we get into Q and blah, blah, blah.
That's my feeling. Is it's another one of these things whereby things which matter to Patrick Stewart have been fed into the show in a wonderful way, in a way which seems I think Patrick Stewart probably now, his political ideology, I'm not saying that it was disparate from Star Trek before, but I think older Patrick Stewart, his politics probably line up perfectly with Star Trek in a way they didn't even back then. I think it's just great. And this does seem like, because I've heard him talk about mental health issues and stuff as well. Perfect.
And I'm wondering if this is going to tie into like these flashbacks we keep getting of Picard's youth, and whether this is going to lead to a heart-to-heart between Picard and Renee, that he'll be able to relate to her, apart from the fact that the whatever familial relationship they are, there might be some connection there, that he's had a trauma in his youth that he's not necessarily addressed. And
how about when the Norscan stabbed him, resulting in getting an artificial organ? Then it could be a heart-to-heart about his artificial heart.
Good one. Yep.
Does it still have an artificial heart?
Or
is it now an artificial heart?
Yeah, he's definitely got an artificial heart. It's just got an artificial everything else.
But is it an artificial heart or just an artificial heart?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So, yeah, when they made the golem into him, did it make a golem version of a synthetic heart? Or did they just go, should we put him a normal heart in? That's a very good point, Elliot.
Well, isn't he? He's cybernetic now, yeah?
Yeah.
So I like the idea that they made everything else cybernetic and they actually got a real heart to replace that, just as
that would be cool as well. Yeah.
Also, it gets us back to Rios's line. It's like, and plus, like, we're led by this captain who's partly a robot. People have explained it to me. Still doesn't make any sense to me now.
Yeah. Yeah, very good, Rios. Speaking for the audience to some extent. Pat.
Yes, again, they seem to even be taking the piss out of things they realized they did wrong in the first season. I don't know how many people from the first season behind the scenes actually have survived, but they seem very open for taking the piss out of missteps that the audience certainly perceived they made.
Picard takes a little bit too long to go, I need to see that therapist. That's not a therapist. It's cute. It's like, yeah, I could tell as soon as I heard him doing the silly voice. You know?
Yes. Oh, and I love that voice.
It's very much that what we imagine from Sigmund Freud, isn't it?
Yes. That's what he's doing.
And it's kind of like, okay, John, we're going to give you a really serious, really kind of great, like maybe the ultimate version of Q. We're going to give you, you're going to be able to really kind of get in some acting kind of pathos. Will I still be able to do silly voices? Well, of course. Episode
that's
6
what you want, John.
Yeah. Silly voice. Get it written into episode 5.
Hey, we gave one to Patrick last season. It's your turn.
Yeah. I do like as well, like how sort of initially outraged Picard is that he's like, well, that's private. You shouldn't be watching her therapy sessions. Even though it's really important to saving the rest of the future timeline, Picard's still the kind of guy who'd be like, yeah, I'm still pissed off that you did it that way.
Yeah.
But, so I like that. So yeah, we meet Adam Sung and Corey. So Issa Bjornes is going for the record of different Star Trek characters. She's probably still got a way to go to catch Brent Spiner, but she's getting there. And we find out that, he's doing genetic experiments on ex-soldiers, which he makes that distinction. They go, you're doing it on soldiers. And he goes, ex-soldiers. Oh, well, that's all right.
Did you notice whose great granddad it was?
Yes, indeed. There's a Rozhenko there.
Yeah.
So...
Also, we chuck in the fact that they've got the idea of how the military is treated in America once they stop being soldiers. You know, it's like there is a huge problem with. They mentioned the VA, I think, which is veterans, veteran army. They mentioned that, I think, in a previous episode as well. So again, they really are hitting so many socialist issues in the best keeping with Star Trek for all you right wingers.
Yep. Yeah, we dealt with you last week. Last week we talked about the right wingers. This week we talked about Fast and Furious. What's going to happen next week?
Yeah, I just thought that was a nice little Easter egg for Worf's great granddad.
Yeah, the Rozhenko guy being there is great, and it's one of them. Again, it's not
in your face.
It's on.
For big fans, it's there, and you notice these things.
So brilliant, and Leah Thompson in that scene as well. Obviously, she directed the previous 2 episodes. So
and she's also Marty McFly's mum from Back to the Future.
I mean, and
so
plus
she's got
also
Caroline credentials already.
And plus, I think everyone would be interested that she was also Caroline in Caroline in the City and the woman in Howard the Duck. I think a few people might have seen Star Trek or might have seen Back to the Future, but I think she's mostly remembered for Caroline in the City, the 80s or 90s comedy.
I've just thought maybe this is going to be the twist, and it's that Q's actually given like Biff the almanac, and that's how that'd be brilliant if Biff was the villain of all of this.
Or if Q steps back and goes, "Have you met my other colleague from another planet?" He steps back. There's an egg cracking. Howard the Duck cameo.
Oh, Howard the Duck can be, and he does some quack foo. Yeah, that was. I'm sorry, right? I know everyone hates Howard the Duck, but they shouldn't. Howard the Duck's great.
I love it. I mean,
I like it. The effects haven't aged well.
No, the effects haven't aged well.
Well, it's a way.
But what's not to love about a lass seducing a duck?
I was going to say, you've got Leah Thompson trying to get it on with Howard the Duck. Okay, she's mocking him, but I don't know that makes it better.
No, there was no trying about it.
Yeah, and then you had the Dark Overlord, who, I'm aware that he's played by noted sex offender Jeffrey Jones, so I'm not condoning the actor or anything he's done in his personal life, but the performance is hilarious, where they're in that diner and he's just like, I no longer need human food. It's brilliant stuff. Anyway.
So it sounds like he was doing, unfortunately, a little bit of method acting.
Unfortunately so, yes. But I just thought I'd better put that out there so we don't get atted and people say, you talked about so-and-so. Yes. So we get that. So, that's what I was going to talk about, the trend. So Leah Thompson directs episodes 3 and 4, appears in episode 5. Jonathan Frakes is directing 5 and 6, so maybe Riker will be in 7. You never know.
We have seen pictures of Thaddeus Riker, and he looked a lot like him. That's all I'm saying.
There you go, exactly. Yeah, that's the point. He could turn up.
He's probably, he'd probably be still alive, like he was a young man in that picture, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do mention, like she says, oh, any breaking of the so-and-so treaty, I think she says Shenzhen treaty, and I've Googled this, and it isn't a real treaty, but there's nothing in established Star Trek canon that this is a reference to. So my headcanon is that whatever the Shenzhen treaty is something that was put in place after the eugenics wars, which, as we know, happened in secret in the mid-90s. And I imagine that that's what she's referencing, is whatever outlawed genetic experimentation following that. But we've as yet to get an official definition of what that is within Star Trek lore. I was expecting it were going to be one of them where it's a lovely little callback again and you're going to go, but apparently not. And then we get that brilliant scene we've talked about with Q and Adam Soong.
Oh, it's brilliant when he asks him who you are. And Q actually, and I think this is the first time Q's ever answered that honestly. And he goes, "I'm the ultimate evolution of Stardust. I'm a butterfly's flapping wing. I am death. I'm a destroyer of worlds."
So he's
from Sanskrit, I believe. From Shiva, the god destroyer of worlds. Lovely.
But I just thought I thought you've probably described yourself for the first time ever in Star Trek, honestly.
We forgot to say that the reason he meets him is because he's left his calling card. Now, I'm reliably told that if you ring that number, something happens, but I don't know because we don't live in America.
From what I understand, he answers it and goes, "I knew you were going to call."
Oh, very good.
When you said something happened, I'd be worried that you get abducted by Q or something,
That'd be all right.
Yeah, from what I understand, it answers and it's a voicemail from John DeLacy doing Q. It's, "I knew you were going to call."
It's like that time when, as part of the publicity for Minority Report, whichever phone company it was that was sponsoring the film. So let's say it was
probably AT&T.
AT&T, we'll say that. They left a voicemail on all of their customers with Tom Cruise saying, "Where is my Minority Report?" and heavy breathing and stuff. And so Tom Cruise got something like 50,000 reports for making funny phone calls or something because nobody knew it was viral marketing. So they didn't do that again. But
I've got to say though, when we talked about Q going back and forth, and we've got such a wonderful serious take on Q, he's managed to do one funny voice. I do want one scene of him going absolutely batshit with Picard. I don't know where they're going to fit it in because it seems like we're going towards a very serious ending to this series, which will probably arc back to the first events we saw, as Elliot said quite a lot. But I just want one series where he and Picard, they just get a really go off the chain, act like 80s Q. I want a bit of 80s Q just for one scene, one episode.
I want more costumes. I don't
mariachi band.
Well, it's meant to be in season 3 as well. So
I know.
How are we going to get a conclusion to all this story?
Maybe you conclude this, but it leads into a greater mystery.
Yeah, I think we'll get a conclusion to the time travel story, but the next season might be about living with the consequences of whatever the denouement of this season is.
Very good use of denouement.
Thank you. Well, I did study English for many years, and look how far it's got me. Anyway.
We're in English, isn't denouement another language at least?
Yes, but we appropriated it as we English did many things.
I don't like to think the English would ever appropriate anything. Have you been to the British Museum? I'm pretty sure it's all good.
As George W. Bush said, the French have no word for entrepreneur. So.
I'm just saying, don't ask the British Museum for receipts. Other than that, it's fine.
So Q gives Soong this serum, which he gives to his daughter, which means that she can go out in the sun. And I think there's a telling line here where she says, "Was my mother a good swimmer?" Like, I don't think you had a mother, love. I think you were made in a test tube, and I think you don't know that yet. But I don't think you're his biological daughter. That's just what I'm going with. I think she's been created rather than... And there is a look on his face when she says it, and he sort of hesitates, and then he goes, "Oh, yeah, she swam like a duck." Like,
and just to see her face melt like that. I mean, like in the original series, or Next Generation, first time we saw Q, that would just been a like melty face prosthetic, not very kind of convincing, and it would be like, "Oh no!" And they would have been like acting to let you know that they're alive. She was properly fucked up. It was just so good. Like, this is the darkness of Q that I feel like even in the original series they wanted to show it but couldn't do.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, he does. He's using her as a pawn to get.
Yeah.
Soong
he's
to
a cure, but it's only going to last half an hour, and I'm not going to tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. But so why does he need Soong? I presume we'll find out next week.
Well, he does say, like, he does go to him. Have you heard of
Picard?
Picard. Yeah. So there's obviously something coming up.
And I think for me, sorry, go on, Jim.
No, you go.
No, all I was going to say was just I think it would make it even more powerful if he did have one of these crazy scenes where he magics up a mariachi band. When you're seeing that, when you've got the thought in the back of your head of some girl's face melting, like just being rotten away, nearly dead, it makes it even more psycho when he's being funny.
It'll sort of it'll cross into that line like in the Joker, or the recent film of Stephen King's It, where you've got the clown dancing and like a puppet show going on, but he's actually about to murder loads of children. So yeah, we'll sort of that would be interesting. Maybe like his backup plan is, right, if I can trigger her anxiety to make her pull out of the mission, I'll get Soong to inject her with something.
Yeah,
but if he can make this cure, then why don't he just do it?
Yeah.
And, we're going to find out, aren't we? But I wonder, though, if this is his revenge on Picard, if you like, is he also taking revenge on Data to some extent by going after one of his ancestors as well? But I don't know. But then Data was sort of his mate, wasn't he, as much as any of them were?
But I wonder if the reason maybe why he has to influence people to do it as opposed to doing it himself. Like when he was trying to go, you're losing confidence, and he was about to do his clicky thing and it didn't work. He was trying to influence her as opposed to doing anything directly himself. So I'm wondering if that's part of like, maybe it's him versus a continuum. For whatever reason, he's got to do it under the radar a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's kind of thing of, okay, you can fuck up the timeline, but if they do it themselves, even if you've given them a bit of a...
Or he can maybe give plausible deniability. Maybe he's under a cloak being there.
Yeah, he's sort of become like Iago, hasn't he? That he's just sort of there pulling the strings and nudging people rather than outright...
You say you've got an English degree. Pulling out fellow now. I'm loving this tonight.
References, that's all I know. That's the I meant parrot off Aladdin, I didn't mean. Anyway, so then we've had all this stuff, and then we do a bit of a gear shift, really, because we turn into a heist movie for the last 10 minutes, and presumably.
Well, we've had this stuff with. We completely skipped over what the Borg Queen's.
Yeah, well, I was coming to that. I thought we'd deal with that all together because we get one version of events, and then, well, we don't get anything. We get one version where it looks like Jurati's just shot the Borg Queen,
which obviously there was more to it.
Yeah, it does lead to that good comedy scene though, where Picard's going, "Oh, my crew are the most trustworthy," and they're just dragging this dead cop out.
That was pretty nice.
Go on, Elliot. Sorry.
No, I just thought it was really clever of the Borg Queen, how she's got into the computer to connect her to get the police there. She needs to summon someone.
Yeah.
And she used Elnor's voice. was the one that hadn't locked her out from using.
I thought it was Rios's voice.
I
No, it's
thought
Rios,
it was
wasn't it?
Elnor.
I thought it was Rios because he was the only one who had authority on that ship because it used to be his.
I thought
possibly.
that. But yeah, if it's Elnor's, that does work because, yeah.
I certainly got Rios myself.
Yeah,
I
because
thought
it
it was-
looks like they locked out lots of voices because they've locked Picard's voice out, and
I just assumed
they've obviously thought of it, the Queen doing this.
Oh, I thought it was a different timeline. So the idea was that this was Rios' ship in this timeline. So no one else was.
I took it that they'd gone through and been locking her out for mimicking voices.
Well, again, yeah, it could work either way. I mean, I thought like you did, Squeed, that it was because this is Rios's ship. But then surely General Picard could override anything, you'd think.
But again, like the version of Rios we've seen from season 1, which I take it this version of him's closer to, was a more of a roguish character. Like, you know, maybe he had lockouts to stop Starfleet from fucking with the ship. You know, I'd believe it of that character we saw originally.
Okay. Either way, I just thought it was clever how she called the police there to.
Yeah, yes. Why haven't we seen evil fascist Rios holograms? I think we need them.
I think it's probably something to do with.
I think it's just
he probably can't get away with that because he's actually part of the Confederacy.
Yeah, that's true.
In this reality,
I'm also guessing they went. It's like, oh, that'd be fun. We've got a million storylines. They're all working really well. Let's not push it now.
Don't need evil fascist. Why are you trying to put evil fascist holograms into everything?
Yeah, we spent so long weaving this intricate plot. Oh yeah, let's just chuck in some evil fascist holograms. Yeah, that's going to be easy. Just chuck into this melee.
I just assumed that he maybe had a bit of an actual crew because he's part of the Confederacy.
Yeah, I think that's probably the real answer. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I will be disappointed if on a mood board they had somewhere in the studio they hadn't written up fascist holograms and then gone, oh, we'd love to, we just can't fit it in with everything else.
There's too much going on. Season 3, the evil fascist hologram season. And yeah, the kids' TV show, Jem and the evil fascist holograms.
Hey, look, you could get at least one episode in a future season just out of Rios and his hologram pals.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Again, this is what that anthology series that Alex Kurtzman's talked about is for. Random shit like this. Yeah. So back to Jurati and the Borg Queen then. Yeah, we find out through flashbacks then that she looks like she got Borgified, doesn't it?
And by the way,
I don't think she's been Borgified in the normal way.
No,
she's not being assimilated, and I think it's because she's killed the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
She's shotgunned. She's blown the Queen away, and I think the Queen's transferred her consciousness to her, as opposed to sending nanobots to just make Jurati into a Borg. She's had to transfer her consciousness, and part of being the Queen is you can't completely take over them. You need that. You need them as well.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
it's a different form of assimilation. It's not like the Queen. The Queen is there with her in her head.
It's almost like implanting yourself as a. You know what? It's really funny. I happen to be watching the Ergo version of the episode of Stargate. There's this episode where this little guy gets planted into their minds, into all of SG-1's minds, and he can influence them, but he isn't complete control. But like he makes Carter pour coffee over her hand when she's getting close to a breakthrough to stop him. Played by Dom DeLuise, who was in Cannonball Run. Fucking funny. If you've never watched any Stargate, it's worth just checking out that episode. It's so hilarious.
Times.
Yeah, me too.
Stargate.
But that episode is one of the best, and Dom DeLuise was just the funniest guy. And that's my guess. It's more like that she's an influence in her head, but not in complete control. So she lacks in concentration, she can take over, kind of thing.
And visually, it's presented very much like in Battlestar Galactica, where you have number 6 in Baltar's head.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jim, did you not think my Stargate SG-1 Series 2 reference wasn't clear enough for everyone? You think some people might have seen your one a bit more?
Well, I didn't know that's how it was presented visually in your version. I've not seen it.
No, Battlestar Galactica probably seen by a few more people. I'll be honest.
I don't think so.
No,
I mean,
actually,
one
I
was,
think you might
Actually,
be
yeah, I'd say that. It
surprised.
was bigger
it
in
had
the
like
story.
10 seasons, whereas Battlestar only got 4. Man.
Yeah, but I think that was more by choice. But anyway, that's another story.
Anyway, yeah. That's for once we've finished the Fast and Furious podcast, we'll do Battlestar Galactica and
Then
Don
SG-1.
DeLuise films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, can I just check that? Anyone fooled, even for a second, that was the Borg Queen done?
No.
No.
Well, I am happy that
I must admit, I thought she was just going to assimilate the cop into a drone.
Yeah, I did. And I thought we might have got a bit of a sort of horror movie style thing with the Borg cop chasing Jurati around the ship. Or
maybe a Susan of First Contact.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But I think what we're doing is probably going to be much more interesting. So, and I think it ties into a lot of these fan
I think it ties into episode 1.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I was
massively,
going to say.
which we have been saying. I have been saying. I think the Borg Queen was going to be Jurati in episode 1.
Yeah, the concealed Borg Queen.
Yeah.
Which would explain why she was seemed to be doing some good amongst the mayhem.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that unless they're wrong footing us, which they may well be, it does look like that's the way we're going.
Yeah.
It also seemed pretty sensible to do the whole idea that, in a series which has done so much to surprise us, to give us a moment where, again, let's face it, no one was fooled that the Borg Queen was completely done.
Yeah.
It's almost like, look, I'll give you this one, guys. We're not going to make you feel completely stupid. It gives you a few moments.
Let the audience have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of seems respectful in that way, because I think these writers could run circles around us. I genuinely think there's some humility in the writing.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, as I said sort of at the beginning, the way we're doing these cliffhangers is we're starting a new thread when there's only a little bit of the episode left to go, and then we're dropping it there mid-action. And that creates... It's a different kind of cliffhanger. It's not your Mr. Worf fire cliffhanger, but it does make you go, what? Is that it? And I think this sort of cliffhanger's fine if you get the resolution within a week, but this would be very naughty as an end of season cliffhanger. But as it stands, these are really good. And I think we're going to...
It's a serialization. It's 10 episode long story. And they're managing to put a hook there to bring you back for the next episode every week.
And I know one which more. I know one you're a fan of, Jim, which you watched during lockdown back was 24.
Oh.
And I mean, if anything, a great series, but let's face it, some of their cliffhangers were very large events on the hour, every hour. Like that seemed a bit somehow implausible, maybe, but I still loved it. But
if you were Jack Howard, you'd have been twitching at 5 to the hour because something awful.
Yeah, exactly. And with this, obviously, you're not tied down with every episode being out, but also it just seems like the cliffhangers are always really dramatic to us, but they're not necessarily universe ending every time.
No, and this one, the rest of the crew have no idea of what's going on in Jurati's head. They think the plan's going ahead perfectly at this point.
But the Queen even goes, when she puts her arm around Jurati and she goes, that's very clever getting yourself arrested.
Yeah, exactly.
Get yourself in place.
The cliffhanger really is that we've got a bit of information that we didn't have earlier in the episode. And I think next week we're going to pick up with the rest of this heist, which I always like a good... I know it's not literally a heist, but I always like it where you have the planning scene where they go, right, there's cameras here, here, and here, and what we've got to do is this, this, and this.
Well, DS9 did that, didn't it? DS9 did the heist movie.
Yeah, and Voyager did it with Dark Frontier. We're going to board a Borg ship. We're going to do this, that, and the other.
Yeah, but like DS9 literally went through the entire thing.
But it's almost like, again, great example though, because DS9 still a great episode, still very enjoyable, but they went for the comedy with that. With this,
Yeah.
like it's serious action all the way through. It's never. They do wonderful comic moments, but it's never a wink at the camera to what's happening in the action. The thing that's happening serious, if we have a little bit of fun on the way, that's something funny which happens within that. But it's just, there's no wink at what we're doing. It's all serious. We're taking Star Trek really seriously.
Yeah, I think this is leading to a serious chat between Picard and Renee. I think it's going to be, she's going to pull out and he's going to have to talk to her and say, you know, I went through some things when I was young, and I think that's how we're going to bring that back in.
I'm really annoyed because I've seen the trailer for this week's, and I won't say anything about it. And
keep that to yourself.
All I'm going to say is if something that happens is left till the end as the cliffhanger, I will be really pissed off. I want it out of the way really quick.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And dealt with in the episode.
Tune in next week then to find out if Elliot is indeed really pissed off. If they've done that at the end.
That's our cliffhanger. Will Elliot be pissed off? Will James watch the Fast and Furious movies again? Will Squee remember what the fuck he was trying to say halfway through the episode? Tune in next week.
Yeah, all these things and more.
Dun, 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 dun. Like they used to play in the next gen trailers.
Anything else on this one then before we finish up?
I think we've pretty much covered it all, haven't we?
It's another really strong episode.
It is. It's like I say, this is probably the weakest episode of the season, but it's really good Star Trek. It doesn't mean it's a bad episode.
Not at all.
It's just that the entire series is that good that you have to, if you're stacking them in an order.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, the thing with when you're doing a long 10-episode story is you do need peaks and troughs. That's the way drama works. So
let me just give a salute while you're saying that to the 10-episode series. Like, I love the fact that TV now, it used to be in the UK, we'd have 6-episode series. In the US, it would be 24. And we've realized over the years, about 10 or 13's just right. Like that you can tell a long form story. You really explore the characters, but you're not dragging out going, oh yeah, we've got another 5 episodes. We better put some filler in there.
I saw one on one of the forums today, and someone was whinging, going, "Oh, I'm fed up with this. Just 10 episodes. When can we have proper seasons back with 26 episodes?" It's like, do you realise how much crap you actually had in them 26?
You realise that's how you get Shades of Grey.
Yeah, even in the best seasons of TNG, Voyager, DS9, you'd be lucky to get 3/4 of them. Of a really good, the decent standard.
I think DS9 came close a couple of times.
But even that had a couple of stinkers in every season,
Sorry, you want 24 episodes or 26 episodes? I'm just going to put Code of Honor in our VCR here. We just hooked up for you. Let's see if you agree after watching this shit show.
What about that episode where Quark has a sex change? Like, no, I don't think so. Yeah,
I'm kind of in for that, actually.
It's not a good episode. Anyway, but the problem though is that when you have a 10-episode season and you still have crap episodes, that's when the model backfires. But in theory, I agree with you. Yeah,
this is doing it how it should be.
Yes, it is so far. Fingers crossed we don't drop the ball.
Even with 10 episodes, you're writing a 10-hour movie effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And to get this consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there. Then we'll come back next week, see what happens in the next episode. In the meantime, you can come and join us on Facebook. You can tweet us at RetrekPod. You can email us retrekpod@gmail.com. You can check out Elliot's latest model videos, working on an X-Wing fighter at the minute. So a bit out of the Star Trek wheelhouse, but you know what?
It's still sci-fi.
You can like Star Trek and Star Wars. I'm putting it out.
My latest one, I show you how to, if you're doing the 172 scale, I show you how to scratch build the guns so you can put lights in the end so it looks like the firing.
There you go.
Nice.
And you are the only video on YouTube, are you not, that shows people how to do that?
Yeah, I think so. I'm the only one I looked at, when I wanted to do it, I looked on YouTube and I couldn't find one.
So now there is one. So there you go. Public service. And Dr. Squee, tell us what's going on with the Dr. Squee show.
Well, as this goes out in video, it's tomorrow. It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 till 8. And tomorrow I've got Amina Warner, who is the head of clinical research at Allergies UK. I probably got a job title incorrect, but she was really fascinating. She talks to us all about how climate change is linked to allergies, especially hay fever we talk about quite a lot. And I've also got my main man, Matt Lees, who's one of my fellow DJs on SW20 Radio, also a great musician who's got a couple albums out, and he talks about his music and heading back on the road after a prolonged absence due to, I think, something happened over the last couple of years. I can't remember.
Yeah, I read something in the paper.
I'm having to go. I'm having to go to a 40+1 anniversary gig this year because they couldn't do it last year. The 40th anniversary.
And the most fun thing is tomorrow I did as the musical theme, given that we've had like all this crazy weather, just like it can be sunny in the morning, snowing by the afternoon. So I made weather the theme of the week for the show. And I actually get to play in the most appropriate song ever to the allergy, like the Amina, who is from Allergies UK. I got to play, going into that interview, because I may have already selected the track, the the pop singers Fear of the Pollen Count by the Divine Comedy. Never before has that track been used so appropriately. Like, anyway.
So yeah, check that out. And thanks for if I can talk. Thanks for trekking with us this time. We'll see you next time on the Retrek.
Thank you. Bye bye.
LLAP.
Fascinating.